Have you ever felt like some people just move through the world with like an invisible playbook?
Yeah.
Effortlessly navigating social dynamics, getting what they want, while others, well, they just seem to get tripped up all the time.
Yeah, like there's a secret language of influence they know, and you're just kind of left guessing.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to the Gist Gab podcast. We try to translate those complex ideas and give you the essential insights, without all the noise.
And today, oh boy, we are taking a fascinating and, let's be honest, pretty controversial look at a book that's sold millions. It's been banned in prisons, apparently, and it's on the shelves of, well, everyone from rappers to CEOs.
You're talking about Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power.
That's the one.
It really is quite something.
Yeah.
It takes this unflinching look at ambition and authority, draws on, 3,000 years of history? Figures like Machiavelli, Sun Tzu, even Henry Kissinger gets a mention.
Right. So our goal here today is really to distill some of the key ideas, maybe some critical takes too, help you understand the power plays that are just, well, part of life, whether you want to use them or just spot them coming.
Exactly. It's about understanding the dynamics.
So right off the bat, Greene sets up this pretty stark idea, this universal human thirst for power. What's he really getting at there?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? His core point is that basically everyone wants power, but openly chasing it. That's seen as kind of crude, maybe even dangerous.
Yeah, nobody likes someone who's obviously power hungry.
Right. So Greene argues the real art, the skill, involves this delicate balance. You need to appear agreeable, democratic even, but underneath you're being incredibly cunning, strategic.
Ah, okay, so it's indirect.
Totally indirect. Mastery comes through things like seduction, charm, maybe deception, definitely calculated strategy. It's really a game of appearances, showing your real intentions too early. That's like rule number one of what not to do.
Because nobody wants to feel manipulated, right? You want to think you're choosing freely, even if maybe you aren't.
Precisely. But, this brings up a big point for you listening right now. While these power dynamics, they're definitely real, they're intrinsic to how we interact. But Greene's approach, it's often called amoral, fiercely so.
Meaning he doesn't really care about right or wrong.
Well, critics would say it neglects empathy, morality. Thinkers like Erich Fromm looked at the dark side of unchecked ambition in books like The Anatomy of Human Destructiveness. It's a totally different viewpoint. Greene isn't trying to be a moral compass. He's dissecting power as it is often used, not maybe how it should be.
That's a really important distinction to make up front. Okay, let's dig into some specific laws then. Appearance and perception seem huge in this. Law number 1, never outshine the master. What's the psychology behind that?
Fundamentally, it's about managing the insecurity of people above you. If you show off your talents too much, it doesn't always win you points with the boss. Often it just makes them feel threatened, insecure.
So the law says?
It says make your superiors look even more brilliant than they are. Use your talents to boost their image. It's a way to secure your own place, gain influence through, a kind of strategic flattery.
Ah, like that story with Nicolas Fouquet and King Louis XIV.
Exactly. Perfect example. Fouquet was the finance minister. Okay. Through this unbelievably lavish party, he thought he was impressing the king.
Don't let completely backfire.
Louis felt shown up, offended, his own vanity was wounded, and as Greene puts it, pretty dramatically, by the time it had ended, he was at the bottom. Fouquet, arrested, imprisoned for life. The perceived threat was just too much.
Wow. So it's not about hiding your skills, but making sure they reflect well on the person in charge? That's a tricky balance.
It really is.
But then what if you need to get noticed? Greene also has Law 6, court attention at all costs. How do those two fit together? They seem kind of contradictory.
That's a great question because, on the surface, they do clash. Law 6 says, basically, being ignored is death. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Stand out, be conspicuous at all costs.
Okay.
The key difference, I think, is who you're dealing with. Law 1 is about the person directly above you, the master. Law 6, that's about the wider world, your peers, the public, people you want to draw in.
So for the general audience, you need an unforgettable image, even if it stirs things up. Controversy is okay.
Greene essentially says yes. He quotes, better to be slandered and attacked than ignored. Think about P.T. Barnum. His whole career was built on grabbing attention, often through scandal and spectacle. He knew notoriety boosts power.
And mystery, too.
Yes, creating an air of mystery is part of it. Making people curious about you, what makes you tick, that draws them in. But look, there's a downside, right? Too much attention, especially the wrong kind, can definitely backfire. You can lose respect pretty quickly.
It really does sound like putting on a show. Which leads nicely into Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. This one feels weird in today's world where everyone's like, celebrating the hustle, the grind, why hide the hard work?
Yeah, it connects right back to that performance idea. This law brings in the Renaissance concept of sprezzatura.
Sprezzatura.
Yeah, it's the art of making difficult things look easy, concealing the labor. The thinking is, if people see you sweating and struggling, they might start questioning your actual talent, your competence. But if things just seem to happen naturally, effortlessly.
It makes you look like a natural genius, like you were born for it.
Exactly. It bypasses all those questions about effort, creates this aura of inherent power, almost. Greene says the mystery makes your power seem more awesome. It suggests mastery so deep it doesn't need to show the strain. Very different from the show your work culture we often hear about.
Okay, that sets us up perfectly for the next big theme. Deception and manipulation. Pretty core to Greene's whole thing. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Why is hiding your true aim so important?
Well, the logic is simple. If people don't know what you're really after, they can't defend against it. Surprise is a huge advantage. For Greene, deception isn't just an option, it's often the best strategy. But the best tricks need a diversion, a smokescreen.
A smokescreen? Like what?
Like maybe focusing everyone's attention on a minor issue while you make your real move elsewhere. Or using false sincerity, ambiguous signals. Think of that con artist, Yellow Kid Weil. He'd set up some boring, legitimate-seeming business deal.
While the real scam was happening somewhere else.
Exactly. Or Haile Selassie being incredibly charming and distracting toward his rival, Balcha, all while secretly working to undermine him. It's all about misdirection.
Wow, that's some next-level chess. Okay, building on that, Law 4 is maybe one of the most famous. Always say less than necessary. What's the big deal about keeping quiet?
Well, the more you talk, the more likely you are to say something foolish or reveal something useful to others or just seem ordinary. Powerful people, Greene observes, often project influence through silence, through an air of inscrutability.
Like Louis XIV again.
He's the prime example. Kept his advisors constantly guessing, never quite sure what he was thinking. That kept them off balance, easier to control. Greene says, power is in many ways a game of appearances, and when you say less than necessary, you inevitably appear greater and more powerful than you are.
But doesn't that just make you seem aloof or untrustworthy? Especially now when people value transparency so much.
That's a really valid critique. And yeah, Greene's view here definitely simplifies how complex communication is. Sometimes you need open dialogue, you need to articulate things clearly to build trust or get things done. It really depends on the situation, your goals.
Right, context is key. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to relationships, social strategy in Greene's world. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. That sounds incredibly bleak.
It is pretty cynical, isn't it? But it's central to his pragmatic view. He argues friends are more likely to betray you, often out of envy. They know your secrets, your weaknesses. Envy's a powerful thing.
Whereas an enemy,
A former enemy, if you bring them into your camp, might actually be more loyal because they have everything to prove. They need to earn your trust, secure their spot. They're less likely to take you for granted.
so trust is basically just a tool. Like Michael III, who trusted his buddy Basilius and got, well, betrayed. It's a very transactional view of people.
Absolutely. Greene literally writes, be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly. But hire a former enemy and he will be more loyal. It's harsh, but it highlights that in this power game, emotions like friendship often take a backseat to pure utility.
Wow. Okay, and then there's Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Seriously, you can catch misery like a cold.
Well, Greene frames it that way. Emotional states are infectious. People who are chronically miserable, always complaining, the incurably unhappy, he says, they have this powerful negative energy. The advice, quarantine yourself. Avoid them, because their despair can drag you down too.
That sounds incredibly harsh, like just cut off anyone who's struggling.
It does sound cold, yeah. And that's a major point of criticism. While sure, protecting your own energy is important, this idea of strict avoidance, it kind of ignores empathy, doesn't it? Support for people in distress.
Totally. Like Brené Brown talks all about vulnerability and connection being strengths.
Exactly. That's a perfect counterargument. Her work suggests connection is vital, not something to be avoided.
Yeah.
So Greene's quarantine idea raises a huge ethical question. Where's the line between self-preservation and basic human compassion?
Yeah, that's a tough one to navigate. Okay, let's jump to Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Now wait, this seems to completely contradict avoiding the unhappy and unlucky. How does that work?
It seems like it, doesn't it? But the danger Greene sees in isolation isn't emotional contagion, it's practical. It's about information and vulnerability. Sure, hiding away might feel safe, but it cuts you off. You lose touch, you don't get crucial information, and you actually become more vulnerable because you're out of the loop. Think of Qin Shi Huangdi, the first Chinese emperor, built this amazing secure palace, withdrew completely, and it contributed to his downfall. He lost contact with reality.
So it's better to be out in the mix, even with the risks.
According to Greene, yes. Engage, form alliances, stay aware. Don't build walls that end up trapping you. He admits isolation can offer clarity sometimes, but only temporarily. Make it permanent, and you lose your grip. Use it sparingly.
Okay, that clarifies the distinction. Let's get into some of the more proactive strategies, the maneuvers for control. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use mate if necessary. This feels like pure puppeteering.
It really does. The core idea is control. When you force others to react, to come to you, you control the terms of engagement. You lure them in, maybe with the promise of some gain, onto your turf where you hold the advantage. It's all about seizing the initiative.
You set the trap, basically.
Pretty much. Talleyrand playing Napoleon after his escape from Elba is a classic example. He carefully maneuvered things so Napoleon had to approach him, draining Napoleon's resources and putting him at a disadvantage. As Greene puts it, the essence of power is the ability to keep the initiative, to get others to react to your moves.
Making them dance to your rhythm. Okay.
Stuff.
Then Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Why is being unpredictable so powerful? Most people like knowing what to expect.
Exactly. Humans crave patterns. Predictability makes us feel safe. So if you intentionally break those patterns, act unpredictably. It throws people off balance. They get confused, anxious, exhausted trying to figure you out. They can't anticipate your next move, which makes them vulnerable.
Like Bobby Fischer in that chess match against Spassky.
Perfect example.
No.
Fischer's delays, his bizarre demands. It wasn't just about chess, it was psychological warfare. He kept Spassky totally on edge. This calculated unpredictability. It can inspire fear, keep opponents guessing, keep them reactive instead of proactive.
Becoming the ultimate wild card. Okay, this makes me think of Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Is this just about pretending you're not smart?
It is, but it's specifically about managing perceptions to lower someone's guard. Make your target feel smarter than you. Flatter their intelligence. If they underestimate you, they won't suspect your ulterior motives. Remember that diamond mine scam, Arnold and Slack?
Vaguely.
They deliberately seemed kind of simple, naive, incompetent even. Played right into what the financiers thought about them. And because they were underestimated, the scam worked.
So playing dumb is a form of camouflage.
Exactly. Downplay your intelligence, let others feel superior. It eases suspicion, creates openings. But, I mean, let's be real. This is ethically murky territory, right? You're exploiting trust, playing on perceptions. It can blow up in your face and wreck any real relationship. High risk, high reward, purely focused on the outcome.
Definitely sounds risky for anything long term. Okay, let's look towards the end here, some broader insights maybe. Law 43, work on the hearts and minds of others. This sounds a bit nicer than some of the others.
It does on the surface. The idea is that brute force coercion, that just creates resentment, backlash. Real lasting influence comes through, well, seduction, understanding what makes people tick, their psychology, their emotions.
So appealing to emotion rather than just logic or force.
Right. Think Marie Antoinette. Part of her downfall was her total inability to connect emotionally with the French people. Contrast that with someone like Zhuge Liang, the Chinese strategist. He supposedly won over this barbarian king, Mengwo, not by crushing him, but by capturing his soldiers and treating them with respect, won their loyalty without bloodshed, appealed to their hearts and minds.
So persuasion beats force. Is it genuine connection, though, or just sophisticated manipulation?
That's the million-dollar question with Greene, isn't it? He presents it as a strategy for power, a form of seduction. But the underlying principle, understanding and respecting others' emotions, that's also the bedrock of genuine leadership, real connection. Is it just a tool for control, or can it be authentic? The book leaves that open, really.
Okay, almost there. Law 48. Assume formlessness. What on earth does that mean? Be like water.
Pretty much. It's about ultimate adaptability.
Yeah.
To protect yourself in a chaotic world, you need to be fluid, changeable, like water. Never bet on stability because things always change. Rigidity, being predictable, that makes you a target. It leads to destruction.
So be impossible to pin down.
Exactly. Remain elusive, adapt constantly. make it impossible for enemies to figure out your strategy or find your weaknesses. Greene says only the formless cannot be affected. He points to the Chinese communists' flexible guerrilla-style tactics against the nationalists as an example. Their fluidity helped them overcome a stronger opponent.
Be unpredictable, ungraspable, always changing.
Wow.
A powerful, maybe slightly unsettling final law.
It really is. Look, this whole exploration of the 48 laws of power, it gives you this compelling, often amoral, but undeniably insightful view of how power and influence have worked throughout history.
It's like a field guide to recognizing these dynamics. Whether you ever want to use them is one thing, but just being able to see them, that's powerful in itself.
Absolutely. If knowledge is power, then understanding these laws, it offers this unique, maybe uncomfortable lens on pretty much every human interaction.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, listening. If you really start seeing the world through these laws, how might that change your own daily interactions? And maybe more importantly, where do you personally draw the line between, say, strategic engagement and actions that just feel wrong, that cross your own ethical boundaries?
That's the real takeaway question, isn't it? Something to really think about.